So for me, in an ideal world, and how I would set things up, is I would prefer if the autopilot is on a separate autopilot breaker, that the depth sounder is on a separate depth sounder breaker from the GPS. Reason being, if the GPS doesn't work, or if it's being switched off right now, I also automatically lose my depth. But I think the way it is set up right now, I would also automatically lose my autopilot. Or the other way around, if something is going wrong with the autopilot, and if everything would be on that Garmin display switch, then if the autopilot would trigger tripping the fuse, then at the same time, I would also lose my depth and the GPS. Personally, I try to keep these systems as independent as possible, so that if I have a problem with the depth, well, at least I still have GPS, and at least I would still have autopilot. Where I sail in the North Sea, depth is a real issue, like a real issue. So what I actually have in the North Sea, I have two depth sounders, both on a separate breaker. That if depth sounder 1 goes on me, I still have depth sounder 2. Depth sounder 1 is a through hull one. Depth sounder 2 is a oil bath one, which sits in the bilge. In this area, having two depth sounders, depth is not that big of a deal here, so I'm fine with just having one. But I really think it's a bad idea to have these all on one breaker, all systems, depth, autopilot, or autopilot doesn't seem to be on any breaker right now because it's not on this and it's not on that neither. So I hope that can be done as a safety thing. If this system requires that it's all one breaker, well, I guess so be it, but that leads to a certain danger that as soon as one system has an issue, you're losing autopilot, GPS, and depth at the same time, which at that point makes it pretty unpleasant to sail.